Okay, folks, and here we have another one about NordVPN getting hacked. And I'll give you a little bit of history on some of these things. First of all, when they say a virtual private network, it's like that word cloud. And it's one of the reasons why I kind of was shaking my head at a lot of people who don't know what they're doing. Okay, the first thing is it's a server out there that someone sets up for you that you can go log into, okay, and then use it for your browser, your games, whatever, but it's dependent on its bandwidth, which is a limiting factor. Um, Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, it's because they don't log and there's privacy, you can get privacy. Well, that's true to a point, okay? And how do I know that this is a little more serious than what they're saying? I used to resell servers for OVH, which was a big hosting company. And at the time, when I started doing this with a partner, we would automate all the systems and have a central server where, if a client came to us, he would say, I need this software installed. Can you do it? Or I need something like what Microsoft has over there. Do you think you could find something? And we were using Linux, and we would go out and we would find something, and it would take. I'm telling you, for that first month and a half, I got maybe 3 hours of sleep while we did all this. I even had a Turkish guy that he paid me double one month, and I was like, "Wait, you overpaid?" And he says, "Oh, no, 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 keep it. It's because every time I ask you to do something, you're able to do it." And one of the first things that I discovered when I went into the OVH servers was that their SSH keys, which is what this is all about, this hack, had been compromised. And I put some monitoring on there, and it was sending data back to the main OVH servers. So I restored the keys to normal settings, redid them all, and then it came out later that OVH had purposely backdoored them so that they could spy on users, because so that they could see what you're up to. In a business setting, you don't do that, okay? And there's nothing they could do to anybody who had the physical knowledge to actually do this, because to do otherwise would be admitting that you're breaching. When I'm in Canada and I'm doing something on the internet, Canadian law applies. What they were doing would have been illegal. It would be like there'd be the privacy laws, first of all, which are federal laws that they breached. And because they were in Quebec with some servers, I was using British ones, but because they were in Quebec, you could physically then say, look, we could sue you and cause you to, get fined hardcore. And so when it comes out, I was just watching a tech guy who used to um, promote NordVPN, and he says he can't because of the way they handled it. When asked about all this, they gave that spin doctory because once you have that key, it literally gives you access inside the whole machine, and then you can just once and there are two types of exploits, people, for hackers. There are remote ones, and then there are the ones that are called local. Local. Once you get local to any computer, there's far more damage you can do, and it's the scary shit, big time. Getting remotely in is that's just half the battle. Once you're in there, dropping to root is then another thing. But the SSH key is the first step. You're like right there. And by getting into, say, OVH or NordVPN's servers, you can then you can put software onto people's computers. You can put malware there. You can put spyware. You can do anything, right? You could steal stuff. You can whatever, right? Spy on everybody. It just opens the door like a floodgate. It's a lot worse than people think, and you know it all comes back to these fuzzy little words: cloud hosting and VPNs and stuff. Everybody using these nice warm fuzzy words, right? It's all safe, everything's all good, right? No, it's not. Even Amazon gets hacked, okay? Like these people, everything does, okay? 99% of the time when it happens, it's a mistake. I'll be messing around with something and then something weird happens. Okay, you did something that nobody has done by or noticed, and then you go, oh wow, gee, you know. So yeah, NordVPN, eh? And it's the response that they gave that's really telling. It's kind of like, well, it was a remote thing, and they didn't. We checked our servers and nothing appears to be compromised. Well, that's what a process hider and a rootkit is actually designed to do. Remove all the evidence that you were there. Nice one. Nice response. I'm sure your shareholders would be just peachy. Anyway, so if you're on NordVPN or you're promoting them, I want you to know this, that they were compromised and they held it from everybody, and it's a serious hack. Okay, it'd be like leaving the keys on the front door of your house. Not just your house, but it'd be like the mailman passing out keys to everybody's house. Okay. It's just that's how it's that bad. It's even worse than just having them on your own house. It's like the mailman delivering the keys, putting the keys, and then over here. But anyway, yeah. Every time I want to go lay down and just play a video game, something silly like this comes up, and I was watching. I was saying I was watching some tech guys about news on graphics cards and stuff, and this popped up, and I was like, ooh, oh wow, interesting. Yeah. And here's a way to think about all the hacking too. And this is how you get around the people that like to do things for lulz. When you don't give them a reaction, they don't like that. They just kind of, oh geez, and they leave you more alone. Okay. Like that's one thing to remember. If they can't get a reaction out of you, that's it. They move on to the next guy until they can get someone freaking out. Ah, ah, ah. Then they like that. They oh, look at this clown. That's the whole point. Because and part of the thing is that as more technology happens in more things, like this is why this Internet of Things technology with fridges and stoves the size of your houses and monitors and all this stuff, and the Google Stadia, even all these things that you can just connect and go, right? All the wireless, all this stuff that's really out there open, it's bad. It's not as great as everyone thinks. It's not that secure. Because the people that are making it don't give a shit. They really don't. They just want you to buy stupid shit because you're sitting there with a chunk of money and you don't know any better. Ignorance is bliss, but it's going to cost you a lot of money in the end. Like, Anyway, I thought I'd put this one up there and just sort of that's it for the day kind of thing, and I might go a day or two again and just kind of sit back. Seems like everything comes in little waves, And yeah, do a special on a little thing on how to shore up some of these things. Maybe one of these days I'll show people how to open up a Linux box and refresh these SSH keys, so that if you do ever want to do something like this, that you can actually secure the box. Okay, that's what you're doing when you redo that key. You are making sure that you're doing that. Okay, and I would say this, that if you're a VPN hoster, you should teach the person how to do that, then give them the box, have that key done, so that that's their thing. right? Then the only box that can get compromised at that point is that person, not you. Okay? And, you know, remote software. It's always remote software things, right? Somebody doing something like that and then forgetting to turn it off or something like that. So I would add into software like that after a time goes by that it's not used, it automatically turns itself off as a service. Okay? That's doable. It's very doable in Linux too, okay? You could make it a cron job to be testing, what's going on there or whatever types of things you have like that. Simple, simple. It's that simple in my brain. Once my brain gets a hold of that it happens. Okay, and that's why uh, I have certain knowledge about computers and servers and networks and and if I apply that same knowledge towards graphics, I'm going somewhere with the graphics and doing my own thing with that. And I wanted to do that because it's visually, something cool, and I want to play around with some games, and I want to play the game I want to play, not what some, big corporation wants to throw microtransactions at me all day. So, yeah. Anyway. Anyway, guys, there's another one there. I'm going to go play some more Diablo 3. I'm really starting to go places now. That I got like a whole bunch of things I'm doing in that game. Anyway, have a good one. See you later.